You've seen them, right? Those incredible saltwater aquariums, like a piece of the ocean right in someone's living room. It's an amazing dream. And it's a big but, what does something like that actually cost? Well, today, we're going to break it all down. We're pulling back the curtain on the real price of building your own slice of the reef. Yeah, this is the big one. The question everyone asks right out of the gate. And, the answer can be, well, a little shocking. We're not talking about some little kit you grab off a shelf. Nope. We're talking a custom-built system, something that becomes the absolute centerpiece of a room. So let's just get right to it. What's the number? Okay, so for a simple start, you could be looking at around $2,000. That gets you in the door with a really nice custom setup. It's a fantastic way to get into the hobby, for sure. But hold on. Don't get too attached to that number, because that is absolutely not the whole story. Because, yeah, on the other side of things, a high-end reef tank with all the bells and whistles, we're talking advanced filtration, smart automation, crazy powerful lights, that can easily fly past $20,000. And get this, that's usually before you even buy your first fish or a coral. Wild, right?
So what in the world creates that massive difference from $2,000 to over $20,000? Well, it's not any single item. It's actually a whole bunch of choices you have to make. So let's do this. Let's break it down piece by piece, starting with the most basic part, the foundation.
First up, we've got the foundation. And by that, I mean the actual tank and the stand it sits on. This is pretty much always your biggest single purchase right at the beginning. It's literally the base for your entire slice of the ocean. And as you can probably guess, size matters a lot. A smaller tank, say 40 to 75 gallons, you might spend anywhere from a few hundred to maybe $1,500 for the tank and stand. But once you jump up to a mid-size tank, maybe 125 gallons, whoa, now you're talking thousands. And it's not just because it's more glass. Bigger tanks need way thicker materials and super sturdy stands to hold all that water. I mean, water is heavy. And even for the same size tank, the price can swing wildly based on your choices. Are you going with traditional glass or the more scratch-prone but lighter acrylic? Want a cool custom shape, like a bow front or a corner tank? That's going to cost more. And the stand, is it just a basic box, or do you want it to look like a beautiful piece of furniture that matches your living room? See, every single one of those decisions nudges that price tag up or down. Okay, so you've got your tank and stand picked out. Now we need to talk about the engine room. This is the life support system, all the gear that keeps your little ecosystem alive and well. We're talking filtration, water flow, and lights. Now, this is where you really start paying for performance. Take a protein skimmer, it's basically the kidney of the tank, pulling all the gunk out of the water. A basic one might be a couple $100, but a super quiet, highly efficient one, that can be over $1,000. Same thing with the pumps and power heads that create the current. You can go cheap or you can invest in quality. And honestly, the more you put into this core gear, the healthier and more stable your tank is going to be down the road. All right, let's talk about lights because, wow, this is probably one of the biggest expenses in a reef tank. If you just want to keep fish, you can get away with spending a few $100, no problem. But if you want to grow those amazing, colorful, branchy corals, the really demanding ones, you are in a totally different ballpark. You're easily looking at $1,500, $2,000, even $2,500 or more for high-tech, programmable lights. It really comes down to this. What you want to grow in your tank completely determines your lighting budget. You're not just buying a brighter bulb, you're buying the power to keep specific, delicate animals alive. It's a huge choice, and it's going to define the entire vibe of your aquarium. Okay, next up is the really cool modern stuff, automation and smart tech. This is where you can spend a little extra money to buy yourself stability and a whole lot of convenience. We're talking about turning daily chores into something your aquarium just does for itself. Think about it like this. On one hand, you can do everything manually. You top off the evaporated water every day, you measure out and dose chemicals by hand, and it works. But, we're human. We make mistakes. We forget. On the other hand, you can have automated systems that do all of that for you with perfect precision around the clock. And that consistency, that's what lets the really sensitive corals go from just surviving to absolutely thriving. So what are we talking about cost-wise? Well, an auto top-off system, an ATO, is usually the first upgrade people make. It just keeps the water level perfect. After that, you can get dosing pumps that add all the essential elements your corals need.
And for the real tech heads, you can get a full-blown controller that watches everything 24/7. Yeah, these gadgets can definitely add to the bill, but if you ask most serious reefers, they'll tell you this stuff is worth its weight in gold. It's so easy to get wrapped up in buying the tank and all the cool gear, right? But the spending doesn't just stop when the water goes in. We have to talk about something super important and something a lot of people forget to plan for: the ongoing monthly costs. And honestly, this is the part people underestimate. That's a quote from an expert, and it's so true. Not budgeting for all the stuff you need month after month is one of the biggest mistakes you can make when you're starting out. So what are we talking about? Well, every month you're going to need salt mix for water changes. You'll need to produce or buy super pure water. You've got filter media like carbon that needs replacing. You'll go through chemicals for your test kits. Oh, and don't forget the power bill. All those pumps and lights run 24/7. And, of course, the fun part. You're always going to be adding a new fish here, a new coral there. It's an ongoing investment. Okay, we've covered the tank, the life support, the fancy tech, and all those monthly costs. So now let's put it all together. Let's see what a few different dream builds actually look like when you add it all up. So remember those numbers from the beginning? Let's look at them again, but now we know what's behind them. That budget custom build in the $2,000 to $5,000 range gets you a great tank with all the essentials, but you're doing the work yourself. Move up to that mid-range reef, and now you've got higher quality gear, better lights, and probably some automation like an ATO. And then the high-end reef. That's when you're all in on premium equipment, amazing lights, and full automation for a really stable, incredible system. And really, this is the main thing to remember. There's no single price for a custom aquarium. It's not a fixed number. It's the grand total of every single choice you make. The size, the material, the lights, the tech. You are totally in the driver's seat when it comes to the final cost. Look, there's no getting around it. This is a big investment. It takes real money, and it takes your time. But for anyone who dives in, it's one of the most rewarding things you can do. You get to create this stunning, living world in your own home. So the last question isn't really how much does it cost? It's what's the dream you want to build?